This one's out to the heads that know. Never been seen like jet black snow. When I'm on stage with the mic in my hand, got the vibe with the gang and the rest lot know. Living in peace, use breath control, and if I'm in deep, let's tread that slow. Don't come with a next angle, got more sides in the rectangle. All that past, just let that go. Turn off the lights, don't end that show. Look on dance floor, show gets live. Oh, I see pyros, I see smoke. Graveyard shift, that's set in stone. Stepping stones, I'm stepping slow. Come to the venue, bless them go. My DJs come to let them know.
This video is for informational purposes only and is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Welcome back, YouTube. This is Eric from Studio 182 Pro with Austin Oral Parabolic 33 live streaming here in the house, and joining us again, once again, Tanya Miller, Blunt Force Tanya, here back to join us for a Q&A, guys. We're going to have a straight up Q&A. No bullshit this week. I actually got a shit ton of questions we're going to talk about and get into discussions. Tanya has to leave at 8 sharp tonight. Why is that? I believe she's going to be getting on that pre-show watch that Dave and Mike Horner, Dave Canney at Blue Collar Bodybuilding, because Jackie is doing the New York Pro this weekend. So that's freaking awesome, to say the least. So I'm going to be checking that out too as well. So we're going to be probably cutting things off, definitely at 8 for Tanya. Then any remaining questions that we have from the chat, Austin and I will take care of you guys. But we're likely going to be cutting it off at about 75 minutes tonight. It's good to see people here early in the chat that dropped a bunch of questions. Yeah, I'm not crazy about the thumb either, guys. I was in a big rush today, fell behind this week, but that's cool. We're gonna fix that tomorrow. It'll be all right. So, Austin, how you been, bro? I know it's been crazy. You hopped on like 2 minutes early. I was like, holy shit, did I set up like a stream on another platform or something?
You've been doing great. I was saying to Eric before the show that like he kind of built this spark of a fire that we had going on Hormones for Me. And then, he is, stood by me, and then he kind of just kept us going like an ember until then. So Eric's been carrying the torch for sure. So thanks to Eric.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I really appreciate everything you said today. And, I haven't been spending nearly as much time because, I have other things that I'm working on that, I have to work. I have to make a living. And it's not that I'm asking for money or anything. That was never the agreement to begin with. It's just that I'm not actually putting in the actual work that I do for what I sell myself for in this channel. And I'm hoping that for next week that I'll be able to go ahead and get on that, because I got to start publishing shorts, and we got to start getting the channel branded properly with the keyword search terms. We got to get podcast segments going. We got to start making content. Of course, the summer months are coming up, but that's all good. Let's get into it. Tanya, how you been real quick? And then we're going to hop right into this shit.
Pretty good. I am 6 weeks out this Saturday, and I have 3 high days in a row again this weekend. That's been the rhythm the past 2 weeks, so I have that to look forward to, and I get to start my cycle back up for the show on Saturday as well. So it's like I'm looking forward to Christmas weekend.
There you go. That's awesome. So yeah, that'd be freaking awesome, because now you got some experience under your belt, and you must be really excited about that. So I'm proud of you. It's the beginning of your journey, your career. It's going to be fun to watch because I'm a fan, and I enjoy you. You're magnetic, Tanya. Do you know that? Like,
thank you.
That's what it is. You really are. So, anyways,
I'm either magnetic or incredibly repulsive. It depends on you.
Yeah, no, I know that. It depends on the person, because I'm a straight kind of forward person, like really, really direct, and I understand what you're saying. A lot of people find that offensive, and
especially if you're a girl.
Yes, that too. And that's funny you mentioned that because I was talking to my wife tonight, right? She's been on HRT for a bit now, and I've never seen. Why am I frozen? What the fuck?
We got a
Yeah,
glitch for a sec, but I can hear you now. Oh,
okay. As long as you can hear me, I lost everything. Everything's black. What the
Can
hell
hear
is
you,
going
but
on?
you're frozen. Now
All
it's
right.
black, but I can still hear you.
Yeah,
that's so weird. Let me back up.
Well, we can hold it down.
Yeah, hold it down. Anyways, yeah, go ahead, Austin. Let's while I get work on this, I'm just gonna switch cameras here. Let's go ahead and talk about our first question that we received from the chat from who was it here? It was I got it flagged actually. Let me pull it up here. While you guys are answering this, I'm gonna fix my camera. This is from androgen receptor. He dropped this in the chat earlier. Is it more anabolic to take all those Anavar tab orally pre-workout or to split the total dose orally 2 times a day, morning and evening, which leads to more growth, hypertrophy? What works the best?
I've got my take. How about you, Tanya?
I feel like it kind of depends on the dosage. Like if you have a robust enough dosage, like especially if you're a male, you probably do. It's probably better to have a more stable blood level and split it up throughout the day.
Yeah.
I kind of think that say if you're a female and you're only taking like 2.5, 5, 10 milligrams a day, maybe just leverage that all pre-workout. I mean, that's at least I've heard split opinions on that, but that's what I do because that just makes the most intuitive sense to me. If it's a real low dose, I mean, I'd rather just leverage that all pre-workout. But
That's my
for most
exact
guys,
thought too.
I would say split it.
Yeah. What is your take on the fact of like the strength boost that you would get from that pre-workout? I don't really ever notice it to be that significant, like a ton, if I take it before or after.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've taken a dose high enough to notice it. I don't know if 10 milligrams is enough to really notice a huge strength boost pre-workout. But I believe a lot of people who are really smart and really experienced say that they experience it. And I will say that when I brought it in this last cycle during prep, literally the first day I brought it in, all of a sudden I did have a crazy performance boost that particular training day.
Yeah.
It wasn't sustained to that level for the rest of it, but like that's a crazy coincidence for that to happen. But so I could say maybe I've noticed it, but it's not something that's like
sporadically too. Like a couple times, like I've noticed this bizarre effect with Anadrol, like only Anadrol for some reason, and it only works and will give me a strength boost if I've taken it when I'm in a surplus or like on a high day. Literally like repeated, and you can see the strengths go up. Like I was getting so depleted during my last diet at this phase. I would try Anadrol to stay full, got nothing from it, got no side effects either. And I was like, what the hell? Like this is the same Anadrol I've always used. I thought it's old. Maybe.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to your nutritional status for sure as to whether or not you see that performance boost. Like I don't think that if you're super depleted and dieted, you're going to notice it as much as if you're well fed and watery and you have a lot of glycogen to flux.
Yeah,
like
it
I didn't
even
notice
gain weight. Like it just on the high day, same dose every day, high day, boom. Low days, medium days. I didn't do the medium days at this time. I was just doing deficit days or refeed. That's it. But I got nada. Like no weight gain, no weight fluctuation from the previous week. But when it would be on the high day, my record high for the week or my record low for the week would be much higher.
Yeah.
It's only
I will say I did I took Anadrol at the same dosage as Anavar before and one of those times was in a dieting phase. I took it for like the last 2 or 3 weeks of that cycle. And I did notice that it maintained and increased my pressing strength even during a diet, like for sure. And that's usually what would fall off a little bit for me. And I actually like gained back what I had lost previously that thus far into the diet and continued to make progressions in my pressing. So it definitely helped. And I did notice during prep, I didn't lose my pressing strength the way that I would expect to during a diet throughout this last prep when I was using Anavar for sure.
What are the ranges of like rate of loss, or do you not track loss? Because you kind of said you maintain, right? Or even do you gain?
I generally maintain. It'll start to get more unpredictable though. Like I won't get progressions. I'll get like random spurts of progressions, random spurts of like steps back in things. And then I might start to see patterns of loss in certain exercises or certain movement patterns.
Yeah.
But it's not anything extreme or dramatic and not enough for me to care to track it. No, I just kind of notice the trend of like I usually continue to progress for a really, really long time.
Do you
And
ever
then
have a
it'll level off and then it'll get unpredictable. And then I'll start noticing weak patterns in a couple of different movement patterns. And that'll be a sustained pattern, but it's never across the board. I'm just getting weaker.
How about your body weight? Do you ever have like a targeted rate of decrease or?
At this point, not really, just because it's only been the last 2 years that I've been able to experience my physiology enhanced. So
Yeah.
it's still kind of I'm
Right.
still kind of learning what the pace of that is, and it seems to be that I don't lose any weight at all for the first 2/3 of a diet.
That
I'll
happened.
just have visual changes, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden it'll start dropping.
Yeah, literally that's me too.
Yeah.
Does your your calorie intake stay the same across the board? Because I think there's like different schools of thought and how you could structure and what the best way to run at that is. We kind of touched on it before, but I think this would be a good direction to go is like how you want to be strategic about planning your year and thinking about that. Cause I mean, you're coming at this as a competitor, right? You know, that's your like bread and butter. So uh when you plan like that, I think that's going to give you the biggest advantage. What do you
Mhm.
think about structuring a year and actually taking the time to like look far out, thinking about your rates of diet, when you want to build, when you want to maintain, etc.
Yeah, that's absolutely like that should be your number one like overarching thing that you start with is like, okay, when is the next time that say if you're a competitor, like when is the next time I'm looking to compete? And then you need to backtrack from there and be like, okay, like look at your previous experiences with dieting and how you normally tend to lose weight and use that to kind of backtrack, okay, how much time do I need? Add extra time to that always and then backtrack from there. Okay, then how much time do I have to make improvements and grow?
Yeah.
And depending on what your difference is, if you have a lot of weight to lose, that might also require like a pre-prep diet where you kind of get your weight down to a little closer to stage weight, then maintain for a little while, and then actually start your prep. So it really depends on your context, but that should be number one for sure for everybody. If you're going to take it seriously, you have to have a timeline.
Right. The longer I think the service should always be of the goal
Mhm.
to have somebody build your outlook. I think that's what a coach does. Like that's the best way to use it because like if you're already building these micro phases yourself, you can probably kind of do it. But like what a coach does is they build those micro phases and tell you which order and when to do, you know. So the most I think there is an optimal amount of rate of loss and like you can only leverage so much and you can only leverage it for a certain period of time. Uh, what do you think on that segment, basically?
Yeah, and it's gonna vary for everybody. But
If
yeah, there's go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, of course, like because you're gonna take
Yeah.
new competitor, enhanced competitor, newly enhanced
Mhm,
competitor, seasoned competitor, maxed out competitor, different
mhm,
person. You know, that's where the coach comes in, who kind of like can kind of see that because at the
mhm.
very least, they've seen a lot more people than you probably. So
Yeah.
you know, that's kind of the biggest thing. But my approach comes down to looking at it as uh, you will always have the best possible look when you are close to as what you were going to look on
Mhm,
stage. So
mhm,
like not massive reductions. And then you can get away with more in both directions. The newer you are or the newer to being enhanced you are, or obviously the
mhm.
harder you're pushing enhancement, the things like that. You know, I don't like
Yeah, I
to
kinda think of it as like, when you put, like, a baked good or something that's very precise and needs to be a very specific amount of time in the oven. It needs to set for a certain amount of time. If you rush it, if you like try to speed up the time and then you cut it off right at the time and you don't let it set the way it needs to set, it's not going to come out right. And it's kind of the same with a physique. Like you stress it out so much and you like are pushing all the way to the finish line, it's not going to come out set and fully baked, right? Whereas if you would prolong that, if you would stretched it out across an appropriate timeline and been ready at the right pace early enough, you have your finished product, like it's out of the oven and it's setting a couple like early ahead of time. Then you know if it's right and you can make any adjustments to it, make final tweaks to it, and it's going to be fully baked and robust at the time you need it to be.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good, it's a good way to think of it. Because like, you know,
I literally just came up with that. So
yeah, like you don't want to burn the top. That's like getting flat. You know, you try to go too hard and then you burnt it. And now it's raw in the middle and doughy. You look hard on the outside, but you're doughy inside.
Exactly.
Yeah. I let the baking analogy works. Oh, let me get to Gabriel's question because Gabriel's a client of mine, and say the question, leveraging drugs to build and stay lean. We'll just take this as a whole topic, you know, and I'll let you give your take on it. And my take here is that it comes down to kind of the same topic we were talking about before. The easiest, hang on a second, I hear my echo. Turn this down. Cool. When you come to the more you're leveraging in terms of anabolics and training stimulus, it gives you more room to run a larger amount of calories relative to your baseline at any given time. So more anabolics means you can partition more food into muscle, into lean tissue, which means you can keep digging into fat harder. Do you follow me so far? Like, do you agree with that?
Yes, that's correct for sure. I just would be careful about relying on drugs to do things that we should be very capable of doing without drugs.
Oh yeah, you're capable without, but like I think that's the reason to leverage a drug most effectively to get the most from it. It's like you take more, in my opinion, when you need to grow faster, which means you're going to need to be pushing training harder. You're going to need to be more rest and recovered and more on point with everything, your sleep, circadian rhythm, diet, everything. And then you're going to be able to take a larger caloric surplus, push it to more muscle. Or in a dieting context, I actually think it's that same thing, but less so. So I kind of don't really run a lot of stuff when I'm dieting anymore. I have in the past, but I just kind of keep it at like a firm 750 and don't really need to push it much higher than that, which, you know, for a man is not like crazy. But it is, you know, I leverage muscle memory for my dieting phases. That's the most way to do it, because when you plan your year out, you can diet all your fat off really quick and then just build it back really quick. So it's kind of like how I did it. And that's how I kind of gained all of the size I did in the short length of time that I did, I think. Welcome back, Eric. Hey, what's up,
Oh
man?
my gosh, that was crazy, dude. You know, and remember before we went live, I was like, what the fuck is this? It was my battery cable to my laptop. And everything just fucking died. I couldn't figure out what was going on because it looked like I had no internet. Anyways, I'm back. So how you guys doing? All right?
We thought we lost you overboard.
No, I swung myself back up here. I was like, I can't believe this happened. All right, whatever. I'm glad you guys are having fun. So, all right. Where'd you guys leave off? So we had, you guys had a question. What was your last question that you took?
I took Gabriel's question, actually. So,
okay, cool.
Yeah, we were going to do, I was going to get Tanya's take on it if you had anything.
Yeah, please do. Please do. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with I agree with what you said, and you know, provided that all the basic foundations are in line to have an ideal time building muscle and staying lean, and you're not eating too much. I mean, drugs are only going to help that. I think growth hormone is one that comes to mind. Keeping that in all the time is it's going to keep you a little bit leaner even as you're gaining weight and putting on muscle, and you know, having a healthy level of androgen support if you need it, and occasionally doing a cycle, you know, keep an eye on your lab markers. I mean, like Austin said, that's what drugs do, is they help you be leaner and bigger.
Yeah, right. And I feel like that's a lot more effective in a surplus. So I feel like, like I talk about that dieting rate because like I very much live on the fact that you can make your most progress by targeting the right parts of your physique for the improvements that you're trying to make, and then actually focusing all of your efforts there, you know, targeting the approach, you know, and being in a big surplus. Like I went at things by pushing as hard as I could with as much food that I could afford before things started, you know, just turning to just slop weight. And that's going to be different depending on your status.
Yeah, that's gonna happen at different rates for everybody. That would happen real fucking quick for me. So that would not be a wise choice for me.
Yeah.
All right. So so Austin, why don't we go ahead and we'll take this one a little later. Let's get into some
generics
of the. Yeah, let's go with the growth hormone and peptides segment here for a bit. Okay. Does HGH significantly impact daily weight fluctuations compared to the anabolic androgenic steroids?
When you start it, yeah. But that is kind of the case where like all of them, like you're going to get.
It shouldn't make you fluctuate more day to day though. Once you get up to that kind of slightly higher baseline from the initial water retention, it should be pretty stable if you're keeping your dosing consistent.
In a surplus, I would say it will actually, because like you have more mineral uptake, more insulinogenic signaling, more ability to partition more nutrients into muscle. So the intake's going to be higher. And then thus like you have a big meal, like a big refeed meal or whatever, you know, your weight goes up more. And then
that makes sense. So it's more of an indirect thing. Right.
Yeah. So like at night, you're going to find like you like have to pee a lot more. Like you're going to wake up and pee a lot. If you're in a surplus with this, maybe not as much if you're in a deficit, or also in that context too, but it does flux more from what I found, you know. Yeah,
I definitely pee more when I'm in a diet. I don't know if that has anything to do with growth hormone, but it's just like I don't hold on to water as much.
Yeah, me too. Also, like
more. And what's your dosing, Tanya, if you don't mind my asking?
Anywhere from 2 to 4 IUs a day.
Yeah. Do you split that?
No, I just take it all at night.
Because that wouldn't be really much more than a therapeutic dose, right, Austin?
For a male, for a female, I would say that's a pretty good dose.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm not as educated on females anywhere near as much as I am on males. And that's why I love talking with you. Because
a replacement dose for a female would be more along the lines of like 1 to 2.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Nice. Man, your arms are looking ripped already, man. Holy shit. And already, I mean, like you haven't been already.
They've been ripped for quite some time. But thank you.
And that a rear back double bicep, I think it was dope. No, maybe you're doing lat spread. That's on the thumb. Holy shit,
that definitely wasn't doing a double bicep.
No, you weren't. You're that thing. It looks like a fucking alien coming out of your shoulder.
People ask me all the time how I got rear delts like that, and I'm like, because I tried really hard to get them. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. I actually would like to ask you this about delts, because I'm looking to help my wife here develop those 3D delts. And I remember you were saying that, if I remember correctly, do you do it every workout? You train your delts? You were saying
not every workout, but just about every upper body day has got some laterals on it or something for delts.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how often are you hitting that rear delt?
The rear delt directly, I only have one direct rear delt exercise on one of my back days. And then, but I have a ton of back volume, so I'm hitting a lot of rear delts and all that.
Okay. Because that's what really gives it that nice 3D look. I mean,
I've had
impressive delts.
I've had predominantly back volume in my split for multiple years now, so they get hit a lot.
Austin here. Joshua Kevin Perry. Austin, he wants to call you. He's asking me, could he call you Austin off if that's okay? And he wants to talk to you more. He enjoys the intercourse. Me too.
Intercourse.
I love it too. Yeah, I like that too, Josh. So anytime, hit Austin up. He does too.
Yeah. Give me a call.
ASL.
All right.
Anyone who wants to talk intercourse, just give me a call. Anyway, but
why don't we pop off on this SHBG question here? I think you'll enjoy it, Austin. Why not? Right?
Go for it.
Really?
Until I just freaking deleted it. Oh, come on. A nightmare after another here. What is going on?
If I haven't
don't freeze. God.
It did freeze. What's going on? I'm sorry, guys. I apologize. I don't have any access to anything. Everything's just shut down. It's froze. Damn it. What is going on?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe the internet, something. He's out in Connecticut.
Something crazy's happened. This is nuts, dude. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna put this if I can. Whatever. All right. Let me pull up the where's the
we can if you want, you can try to fix this and work it out if you want. And then, I have things.
There you go. I got the SHBG question. It was on the document. I was using something else. So let me copy this and paste it into the chat. And I'm going to read it as we go. And then while you are answering this one, Austin, I'm going to go ahead and fix this.
All right, cool.
Okay, let me just read it first. So what's the best way to handle high versus low SHBG levels for muscle gains? There is a lot of discussions around your specific SHBG restoration protocol and how it compares to standard TRT approaches.
I mean, high, low levels. Like, I think there is a point where it gets too low. About too high, I don't know where that is, because usually if you're on TRT, almost always, except like in a select few people like who we had on Damien, you're going to have reduced SHBG levels on any amount of even therapeutic replacement of hormones. So you're going to be in an optimal sweet spot probably for most people at like 120 milligrams, 170 milligrams of test even for most people. But if you are doing super physiological doses, the more you dig into that, especially once you start implementing like any sort of estrogen control, it's going to dip potentially. In every experience I've seen to date, honestly, and I say that is like, there is benefit to be had when there's restoring to 14 or higher. That was kind of the sweet spot, because I was able to get measurably more growth for myself, the clients who I do, get other measurable improvements, like if you're not getting nocturnal erections every single night, like just not waking up always with that, like measurable, tangible things that aren't really placebo altered. There's like something to be gained from going from an SHBG of 10 to even 14 or 15 or above. But in terms of what happens above that, I don't really know, because I spent most of the time just trying to map out which compound does what. And there's only like a very specific combination of things to get it done with. Yeah. Out of curiosity, I don't see a lot of female labs, like in female bodybuilders labs, like just bodybuilders who are female. What is your SHBG levels at? Out of curiosity, Tanya, do you ever check them?
I couldn't tell you as far as other people or averages or anything. I don't hear a lot of discussion about it ever either, really. I can pull up my most recent ones though, because I did get some post show. I have them right here in my drive.
Yeah.
Labs.
Do you take estradiol?
I do.
Okay. So I would think like maybe 30s or like maybe above. Just as a guess.
It is gonna make me
Erick.
do my password every single time.
Erick, do you know where yours ride? Have you had your
Yeah, it was last time I checked, it was actually 10. But that was quite a ways back. That was at least a year or so ago that I checked my SHBG. I've come down on my doses significantly. I'm like at the high end of therapeutic doses. So I haven't checked it, but once I go back on, which I'm actually joining the gym. I've been saying this forever, but this is no joke. I'm actually starting Monday. So I'm going to be slowly increasing my androgen load, and I'm going to be running labs as well. I definitely want to see what my SHBG is at. I don't really give a shit about my total T at this point, but definitely my SHBG I want to take a look at, and my E2 because I feel great. So I'd like to know where my sweet spot is because I'm actually considering, more than considering, your SHBG protocol, especially depending on how it comes back through the labs.
Yeah. Last time we were talking about some people who had some questions too. So like you can ask me questions about it. I feel like we always talk about this, or I always talk about it, but it's
right.
It's ethereal at this point. So like, yeah. What do you? I don't really know where to go with it. I've said a lot, but
so my SHBG was 35.
That's it.
And that was
like close. I said 30, I think.
Yeah, and that was a week post show, and that was after using several weeks of Anavar. And the range is 17 to 124.
Yeah. And like I've said this before too, like when you look at it, all the mass monsters in 2026, 2025, like clearly you don't have to have a double digit SHBG level to get freaking huge. But the only way to really experience it, unless you use Clomid, is to take out testosterone. Like, I know how that sounds nuts, but that testosterone.
One problem, though. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go ahead, finish, and then I'll jump in. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, it's that. I mean, do you guys know what the reason is for it as to why it needs to be taken out?
The test, yeah, absolutely, because you don't want to aromatize.
Well, no, in this case, it's because of it's only test and DHT that seem to lower SHBG. Like,
okay, yeah,
except for orals. So that's really the only way to get it done. And estradiol, it's not to raise the SHBG. It just like you keep it at the same exact level that you would keep it anyway. So like people are like, what the hell, inject estrogen to boost your SHBG. It's not that. It's just you just use it to replace the E2 that you would have.
So do you think the fact that I take a stable level of estradiol, do you think that maybe that's why my SHBG levels don't, or apparently at least this last time, didn't get tanked by Anavar?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
And Primo.
Yeah, absolutely. And Primo itself actually doesn't even crush SHBG when you take it with estradiol. So
okay.
It
does, because my estradiol was actually the highest I've ever seen it. It was 91.
Yeah, I would say that's like pretty close to a sweet spot. In a female body context, I would say.
Yeah, and I've struggled to get that's the one that progesterone has actually struggled the most, but I've struggled to get my estradiol in it. Like my test, it like responds very easily to very low levels of TRT. The estrogen, I've just had to continuously try to find the dose to get it up, and this is the highest I've seen it, and I haven't even changed my dose.
You're using the same ester. That's the problem. I bet you're using the same ester, and I have seen this. I swear to God, it's freaking weird. But with estradiol and enthate, I cannot get my levels up no matter what. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm using an enthate.
Yeah, and
I've apparently gotten it up.
I've gotten it up too. And once I got it to 75, and then on the same exact dose, 20 something, then the same exact dose, 20 something, then up to 70 again, daily dosing. Didn't matter. But with valerate and cypionate, I did not have that issue.
Yeah, I'll
And
have to
the
get.
thing
I'll have to link up with you about getting getting different estradiol because I don't have the source that I got this last bottle from anyway. Like it lasts forever, so I still have some left. But after that, I'm gonna need a new source.
I can advise on that. So yeah.
Yeah, just reach out to Austin's email. It's in on the channel. And just click not robot.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
and
but
that's definitely help you out there.
yeah, but I've kept the estrogen dose the same, so it's interesting that it's come up to the highest that I've ever seen it. But also,
That
the change I
happens
did
with
make
the
to
Heptarn.
the change I did make to the HRT is I switched because I was on for a period of about a year. I tried NPP as my androgen replacement instead of testosterone for just the same equivalent dosage.
Right.
And then at some point last year, like late last year, I switched back to testosterone as the TRT component. So I don't know if maybe that minimal amount could have aromatized that much into estrogen, but
the thing is that
Oh wow,
this is like a new controversial thing. Like I check this, guys, you'll see it. With testosterone and anthate and estradiol and anthate, not even joking, I can have my levels be half one day of the next. Like, so on a dose of 90 milligrams a day of testosterone and enthate, I can range from 1,000, 1,200 nanograms per deciliter all the way up to 2,800 with daily dosing. Like, that's all over the place. 1,200 to 2,800 is freaking crazy, right? With daily shots, like, why is it varying so? And then with propionate, literally prop daily, it's like the fast ester. I get a higher level, literally, and it's more stable than an enthate. And the same is true with estradiol and enthate. And it's weird. I don't know what the reason for that is, but I have seen this with other people too.
maybe just individual variability with how you metabolize the drug. But I use propionate for my TRT, and I wish I could split it up daily, but it's such a tiny amount. The most I can do is twice a week.
I would say dilute it. I can help you with that too. But
maybe.
Hey, what's up, Dave?
I know females metabolize cypionate slower. I think it's specific to cypionate from what I understand and what I've heard people talk about. I don't know if that extends to other esters or not.
Yeah. I've never seen slower because I've not measured, but I've just seen super inconsistent levels with an enthate for some people. And
I've heard more than one person say that there's indications that females metabolize testosterone cypionate specifically at a slower rate than males do.
Do they have higher levels? Are they seeing higher levels? Is that what they're
more stable levels?
Yeah. So, oh man,
what just happened?
What's happened?
Oh, my sheet fell.
We're all having a lot of problems.
One technical nightmare after another, but look who popped in! My gosh, from the New York Pro,
what's
Dave
up?
Canney, Blue Collar Bodybuilding. How's it going, my man?
It's going. How you guys doing?
You found a different setup than yesterday. Where's the turtle?
I know, right?
Oh, that's at the dinner table. I
Oh.
the bedrooms that had a desk there. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah, man. I didn't expect you to come on tonight, bro. I mean, that's crazy.
I got like a half hour. I figured I'd stop, say hi. And
Well, I appreciate that a lot. It's been one technical disaster here after another. Before we started the show, I looked at this cable. I'm like, what the fuck was this? It was my laptop battery. And everything.
Yeah, me and Austin have been just like on and off carrying the show on our own.
Yeah, they're doing a great job too, because I haven't been here for most of it.
Yeah, we had a little snafu at our Airbnb, which if you guys ever see my YouTube vlogs, every time we travel, we've had a car blow up on us. We've had issues with Airbnb.
Literally blow up?
Pretty much, the radiator blew off.
Yeah. Oh, this sucks.
Brand new rental car, like 50 miles on it when we went to Dallas.
So what happened this time?
This time we showed up. So we got in, what's today? Thursday. We got in last night, like 6 o'clock. Nothing was too difficult. And we didn't go to bed till late because Jackie had to catch up on food a little bit from the travel. And anyways, we went to bed at like midnight, and the owners that are renting the Airbnb said to us, hey, because of the weather, it's raining up here. The roofers that doing the roof are going to have to be there tomorrow to finish because the roof's exposed. So we're like, that's fine. Just don't come before 9. We all need a little bit of sleep, Jackie especially, and because of the travel. And Anyways, it's
They
7
came before
o'clock.
9, didn't they?
It's 7 in the morning. I hear them banging on the roof, like literally. It's a hollow house, and so that kind of aggravated me. And then, so there's me, Jackie, Karina, my one of my clients, Zach, Jackie's friend, Kelsey, and Paul Barnett is all with us. So we got 5 out of 6 of us bodybuilders. There's no silverware. There's no effing silverware.
I hate. Oh my god, my biggest pet peeve is an Airbnb with an understocked kitchen.
Oh, well, it's advertised fully equipped. I was like, but no, I didn't know I had to bring my own knife and fork, which is
Jesus.
Yeah.
Listen, it's bad enough when they don't have kitchen scissors. That gets to me
That's
enough.
hilarious.
Yeah, just little things. So not a big deal. Luckily, Jackie's got a good attitude about it. She chuckled, just like, of course, this is how it works. And but she's looking great. Like, I couldn't be more thrilled right now with how she's looking. It's one of those where, knock on wood, everything's just falling in. Mentally, she's sharp. She's happy. She's confident. She's got that killer mentality going. This is good. I see those eyes glaze over on her. After she got her number, we just checked in at 6 o'clock for athlete check-ins. And I could just see when she had that number glazed over, it's Terminator time,
Locked in.
Yeah. So we're excited. It's going to be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that's freaking sweet, dude. You must be so proud, right?
Yeah, it's wild. Like, just to think that, what was it, 3-4 years ago, she did her first bodybuilding show.
Yeah.
Won overall. 3 weeks later, won another overall, went to the universe, won her pro card, and now we're 2 years later. From July 24, now we're May 26. She's doing her first pro show in the same place where she won her pro card.
Oh, that's awesome.
Pro, so it's like
nostalgia.
Yeah.
That's so cool, man.
I'm hoping to swing a very similar timeline there.
Yeah. And the big thing that I think made a difference for her, right, was once she got that card, that was like a little bit more of a super big relief, where putting in a couple of years to grow was just relaxing. Like, it went well.
Yeah, like the pressure's off. Like, you made it to that next level, and now it's just improve and get better at that next level. Yeah.
And she's realizing she deserves to be here. Like, she deserves to be with those top dogs, and
good.
So everything's just coming along well. Super proud is correct. Yeah, I'm very proud.
That's when you can do all the fun stuff too, because like then you can really aim your approach like long term,
Yeah.
But then, oh man, like it gives you so much runway and so much like creativity to make progress, to exercise your skill and then like show up, because there's like
before that point it feels like you're fighting to even get on the field.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a good analogy.
So I couldn't be more happy. Like anyone that knows me from my coaching style, I'm relaxed, but I'm very in particular. Like, this is a sport about details. Like, this is a sport where hairline fractions make a difference. So I'm very on top of things. Like, you do posing with Jackie, Tanya, and I do for her her posing. So I'm just drilling her. I can't think of anything to point out. Like, we got to the point a week ago, I'm like, just keep doing this. Just keep doing this. I can't pick anything apart. So it's really nice, because she knows I don't hand those out. I don't hand out that feedback unless you stump me,
And I will be jumping back on regular posing sessions with her after the show. I wanted to give her a break for her prep. Yeah. But I've been doing my drills on my own.
Yeah, if you need help, I can help you out too, or whatever. So whatever works.
Yeah, we'll probably rework my individual a little bit, because I'm getting the impression that outside of the Southeast, they still like the power pose and figure.
Yeah, you'll shine there. You'll definitely shine.
Because I've seen so many pros do it at so many shows outside of the Southeast, and I've not heard any judges outside of the Southeast tell me don't do the power pose.
Yeah. Well, the reality is you're at the point where you go into a national show. It's really just show your best. So if that is a power,
and I look good in a power pose, I want to do it, please.
Yeah, we'll work it all out. It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
So how's she doing? Like, when's she going on tomorrow night?
So we got prejudging starts at 10. So this year the New York Pros are pro-am. So they're going to have amateurs go on. So they're going to have the pros for prejudging starting at 10 to like noon, somewhere in that range, or maybe a little longer. And then they'll have the amateurs, and then at 5 o'clock they'll have the final. But she's the second division out. I think they're doing They might be doing wellness first or what. I really don't remember. In figures second. So
Yeah.
maybe 11 o'clock. She'll be on 11:15 somewhere in that.
Yeah, that's how they did. That's how they did my show too. It was the finals was in the middle of the afternoon, and it was the amateurs or the pros first, and then the amateurs.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're excited. There's a lot of great turnout. Like there's every division starting to shape up as you look at it. There's some really good names, and we got tickets anyways just to stay for the men's open on Saturday because Paul wanted to check it out, and we're in no rush, to head out. So.
Yeah, and it's different, especially for the figure category. It's different names that I usually see at pro shows, so that's interesting and exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it's not just the same 3 or 4 girls that are at every figure pro show. It's different girls.
Yeah, and I want to say, if I'm right, maybe a good third, if not half of the lineup are first timers for a figure.
Awesome.
There's a good amount of first timers. I think there's 12 or 13 girls in general. So plenty, be a couple, at least 3 classes. So that's kind of nice. Absolutely. I'm pumped. Going to be more excited.
I'm sure, man. I'm sure it's got to be so awesome to be in the backstage, seeing the pro shows. I mean, it's got to be so much different than like the NPC. Not a hit on you, man, at all. I'm just saying that the the money that goes into this and everything. It's got to be quite the experience.
Yeah, and it's fun because we got Paul, my coach, Karina, her coach, myself, who coaches, and it's my wife. I know her in and out perfectly with every aspect of her bodybuilding. Been there since day one, so she's got that confidence of 3 coaches that she really keeping her eyes on. And Karina and I do very well together. Like, where I'm during prep, I'm right there in person, so I'm able to translate a lot of what she needs to see and needs to hear. Good and bad and everything in between, by me being in person. So that's really helped out. And her and I's methodology is very, very similar to a point. I'd say we peak a little different, but the way we prep people down is very similar. Very data driven. Very data driven to a point, and it's just working out great. So
it's very sweet.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Eric. We got to get back into these questions because we have exactly 13.
Yeah, let's bust out some questions here real quick. Let's see. Let me pull that up.
Austin looks like he had something to say.
Okay. Oh yeah, Austin, if you had something to say, I gotta unmute you, bro, because you're beating the shit out of that keyboard.
That's not an exaggeration. It sounded like that.
Yeah, you heard that, right? It was even drowning out Dave.
Oh shit! I can't hear it. Oh man, I can't hear it.
Don't worry about it, man. It's fun. It's okay, man. We're live tonight.
He suddenly took a limitless pill and started typing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, we can get to these questions after, but I have a specific take too, because like, what is like the typical stance of testosterone in a female competitor cycles? What is the stance where testosterone goes? Because as a man, you're using it for your estradiol. In a female context, what are you using it for?
I think there should be, if they need it, I think there should be a baseline of physiological testosterone levels ensured, whether that requires TRT or not.
Mm-hmm. What is what would be the purpose of putting it in for? What would be the needs that define it? What would define that?
I just like having hormones in a healthy, high normal, natural level. I just think everything works better when it's in the place it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then you also got to think too. You got the benefit with a woman getting their hormonal aspects covered, where like Tanya says, they're kind of in somewhat of a normal range. Let's say, rebounding out of shows and then getting deep into shows, we're able to control a lot more rather than controlling it exogenously.
And that's where
female levels with the progesterone too. I was going to jump in on that actually. Sorry. Progesterone levels actually won't change significantly at all unless you are using injectable progesterone. That is the only way. A progesterone cream and an oral progesterone won't show up that much on a blood test. So that is actually to be expected.
I've gotten it up a bit. With 200 micrograms oral.
Right. But, not like maybe 12 at the most though. I'm assuming.
Not
maybe
even
15?
fucking close to 12, like 1
Okay,
point something.
right. So on a typical like ovulating female progesterone level will go up to like 20, 30, 40, 50.
Yeah.
And the only way to get it that high is with the injectable. But that does not mean you're not getting the benefit and the effect of it. It's bizarre. It's one of the only
I remember us talking about that, where it has
Yeah.
to be more of a symptom-driven thing because the plasma levels truly don't reflect it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they only do with injectable.
Okay.
It's something unique to the chemistry of the progesterone molecule. I'm not exactly sure what.
Okay, so it's not a difference
level.
in the efficacy, it's just a difference in how it's reflected on labs.
Right. And then, getting back into the thing on the need for testosterone, I think really it's more so the need for the I don't see a need for it if estradiol is in place. But that is only I'll admit I'm just speaking from like a small number of anecdotes and people who I've worked with and in theory, because with testosterone, what do you have? You have androgen receptor activation, estrogen receptor activation. In a female, how much estrogen receptor activation are you really getting from testosterone? Not much.
Right.
That's my
a lot of it gets produced from the adrenals, but and that's why it depends a lot on the individual. Like some girls have a relatively stable level of hormones even through a prep, through a cycle and everything. Others, they completely bottom out when they're on a cycle or when they're low body fat. So it really just depends. Like, that's why I said, like, if somebody needs it, I think it's wise to keep it in. And then that makes the recovery afterwards, especially a lot more predictable because you're already at your baseline and you just take out the extras. So it really just depends. But I just think in all cases, the hormones, I just think the body's going to work better when the hormones are in a healthy range, especially for females because they're so sensitive to those hormonal fluctuations, and it can do a lot more hormonal damage than it can to a guy.
You get a runaway PCOS effect with women because and you get everything is run by FSH in a female's like hormone production. Like FSH makes aromatase, which makes testosterone, androstenedione aromatize into estrogen. So actually all females get all of their endogenous estrogen from aromatized fats actually. So like if you take anything that inhibits aromatization, you are screwing yourself for estrogen production in a woman's, but you won't skew testosterone as much. Actually, you will actually potentially raise it. So it ends up creating this runway PCOS effect. And that's really the heart of what PCOS is. Like, it's like, it starts with an androgen comes in, you get smaller pulses of gonadotropin releasing hormone. So you get slower pulses that are smaller. I mean, faster pulses that are smaller. The faster, smaller pulses favors LH instead of FSH. LH makes androgens. FSH makes estrogen. And it's really weird how different of the hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis works compared to male. It's like
different. And that's why like paying attention to those hormones and getting regular lab work and actually knowing where that's at is so important, especially as females who are enhanced in bodybuilding. And I also think that that's part of why you see such a vast difference between different females on similar doses. Some will masculinize so much more than others. And I think that's because of that PCOS effect. That's really what's happening because they are not actually staying on top of their hormones and their hormonal health and doing labs and keeping an eye on that. And I think the ones who are actually keeping those other hormones in a healthy range and counterbalancing that androgenic effect have the advantage of not virilizing as much because they're not placing themselves in that runaway PCOS state that you described.
If I was trying to avoid that, literally 100%, I would always do, and what I do always do is just take out the THD like as much as you can, because you're getting a 10 to 100x fold more potent androgen that does jack shit in your muscles.
Well, it's tough because the DHT female friendly drugs happen to be the prep friendly. drugs as
Right.
well.
And
Yeah,
it's
right.
it's important
I
for
agree with you.
sensitivity and libido. I mean, there are some important aspects
Anyone-
of DHT.
Anybody, I'm the guy who gave myself tits and then removed it with DHT.
I know, that's
I
wild,
see the
right?
benefits. I see the benefits for sure. Don't get me wrong. But here's the thing. Anybody who's ever not had DHT in their system, literally everyone, we can't tell, except for the fact you do get more resistance to excessively high estradiol for sure. But I agree with you literally 100%. The DHT compounds are the most clean, most well tolerated, because my favorite compound of all time is a DHT based compound. But they don't have to do with DHT, because here's this one thing: DHT is completely inactivated in your muscle. It's broken down where you don't want it, and it exists where you don't want it it's breaking down where you do want it. When DHT goes in the muscle, it can't bind to the androgen receptor because of the enzyme that breaks it down. But when you take testosterone and it goes into the hair follicle or the vocal cords, 5-alpha reductase is in there, and it makes test 10 to 100 times more potent. So
Wow.
DHT doesn't do shit in the muscle. Well, almost nothing. People will argue that it has other effects, and it does. But it's mainly through its metabolites. And does that make sense? I want you guys to push back on that. I don't want to dominate that with that view.
When we're prepping a female specifically too, if we have control of their hormone balance and not allowing them to dictate where their hormones lead, and we have the TRT in place, not only is that kind of putting it's kind of like when somebody puts a lockbox on the thermostat so you can't mess with it. Like, we're literally keeping things in place. And then the aspect about the DHTs though is the small amount of anti-catabolism that we're putting in place and retaining muscle for these girls is great, but we're also getting those secondary effects that we want from them. It's hard to get a woman not looking sometimes soft towards the end without pushing drastic measures. So these DHTs really kind of help with cleaning up the polishing of the look at the end, and it's recoverable for some of these women because we can run them for extended periods of time if this woman's not getting androgenic effects from it. And Tanya's right, everyone's totally different. I've had some people that can only work with Primo, and an Anavar is not working.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, what you're talking, Primo and Anavar, basically?
Yeah, and then the beautiful thing about the Primobolan too is where it's kind of long acting, we can use it a little bit into the rebound, so you can stop the exposure to it and still get a little tailing off into the first 4 weeks of a rebound.
Oh, and that's absolutely what I'm experiencing right now.
Yeah, and then you're also, again, you have that lockbox on the thermostat for all the other things, our testosterone levels and the estrogen, and we can still modulate those a little bit, but it just makes it easier, and you see women recover better. But it all depends on the woman's preference of their femininity too, but also because some people don't really care. Some women don't care about androgen effects, but a lot do. So these things just make it easier to have limited exposure, milligrams over a prep, and get a pretty good effect. And it's recoverable and manageable.
What do people use to decide the dose of test if they're going to be on cycle? And is there ever a standard to use estradiol androgen, like with women? Like, because you've got Anavar only, like that's super common, right? But does anybody ever add estradiol in with the Anavar? It's like
hold on before you answer that, Dave, please, because I just wanted to let Tanya be aware we're at about 8 o'clock, and we promised we'd cut you off at 8 sharp. And thank you so much for coming on.
I was going to hang for the rest of this. The rest of the female specific stuff. And then I'll hop
okay, cool. Okay, that's cool. I just wanted to give you the opportunity and let you know. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Dave.
Well, to answer that, I think you were asking on how do we decide on testosterone dosages moving into a prep. Hopefully, we have a lot of that established ahead of time. I don't like, I like making sure women have decided if, first of all, women specifically, I'd like to have them have an understanding if HRT, TRT, whatever you want to call it, is going to be ideal for them over a long span of their career, first and foremost. It's not something you just put in, take out from prep time and off season, because that's a long-term roller coaster. It's still doing the same thing over just longer periods of times. So there's a lot more risk management with females. We've just kind of learned from trial and error. A lot of people have been guinea pigs ahead of time just to find out that kind of keeping testosterone levels and estrogen levels modulating. Sometimes you do have to put estradiol into a woman's plan, but that's probably already been understood through their HRT anyways. Like
that's
it's different.
that needs to be.
I've seen some women need estradiol before as a natural. They get their blood work done. They happen to be running low on just about everything, you know.
Yeah, that was me.
And that was Jackie as well, to a point. So
and I think
probably a lot of women, most women actually.
And more than even think it or have any awareness of it, because they're not checking their fucking blood work and they think it's normal to feel like shit all the time just because you're not 18 anymore.
You get used to it too. It happens.
Yeah, and it's so normalized. It's so normalized for women to just feel like shit all the time and have complaints, and nobody. And that's another digression. But as much of a pain in the ass as it has been to be HRT and thyroid replacement dependent since before I was 30, I do think it kind of gives me an advantage as far as, you know, preps and stuff like that and my resiliency to it, and also my side effects or not to cycles. I think that I've had an advantage just having that constant baseline stable level exogenously managed of estradiol, of progesterone, of testosterone, of thyroid.
Dead on. Like,
why wouldn't we want to have more control too? Especially, why wouldn't we want to have a little bit more control where everything's kind of set up and on autopilot to the point where all we're doing is prepping and then finding out when we want to insert a DHT at that point.
The more robust and stable a baseline vehicle you can have, the more shit you can add on to it and the more stuff you can do with it.
Yeah.
You guys got to try actual DHT. You got to try that.
I'm not going to do that, Austin.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't recommend it in your case.
Can you even get it at this point? Because I don't know of anybody that can get it.
Vigorous Steve, I guess, recently was talking about partnering with a DHT supplier.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Just so he's got a DHT source.
If I get a
the only thing I'll say is it's not like Primo. Like, it isn't like Primo or Mast, but like, that was really the only point I brought that up for.
Yeah, straight up DHT powder, basically, you'd be working with.
Yeah.
Yep.
They have injectables.
Right, yeah. You get the raw, right?
You can find DHC and anthate and propionate and stuff around. But
well, if I grow a C cup, I'll be running some topical.
Yeah, I know you saw that short. And Dave, I'm definitely going to still put together that short about the skin tightening and all that. I was talking about that when we first came on. I'm going to start putting more time into this channel.
That's cool. Awesome.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna hop off.
Yeah. All right, Tanya. Have fun, and you know, we'll be. I really appreciate you coming on. Have a great night, Tanya. We'll talk to you soon.
See you, Tanya.
Yeah, I have to go make sure I get to bed in time.
I hear you.
Bye, guys.
All right,
have a
good night. One. Thanks again.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay. So yeah, let's hit some questions here.
Yeah, I'm ready to fire these, and you know,
we got one here in the chat here. Let's take this here from. Let me close out this real quick, and take this here from Bodybuilding Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay, where is this? Okay, have you seen someone succeed on the SHBG protocol without taking estradiol? My E2, tests high. I'm wondering if I ran just DHB and Anadrol, nothing else, if my E2 would remain high.
No, that wouldn't work. The SHBG protocol is literally a specific dose of E2 injectable with the list of androgens that are compatible. That's it. Like, it's really freaking annoyingly specific. Like, it won't work. On nandrolone only, like, that's the other thing you commonly see. 1,050 nandrolone you see often. Usually E2 is like 8 to like 15. And most people don't get actually low E2 symptoms. But taking like DHB by itself will give you low E2 symptoms because nandrolone itself like prevents that for whatever reason. I don't know. Do you have anybody on nandrolone only, Dave?
No, no, I find it kind of limits things. Like we can go that route sometimes for some people for like a
Yeah,
replacement aspect, but once you start get into the competitive realm, it's really hard to kind of
I would
just
agree.
have no testosterone involved, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I would agree if you don't have E2, but like
Mhm.
I freaking hate saying this because like I can only tell you my experience right now. Like, and I gotta just have other people come on. Anyone come and help me out. But um let's see. Yeah, stable levels are really, key.
Yeah.
If I do that with thyroid too, like
How
even
well
in
have you done on recovering with the SHB protocol? Have you done it to the point where you're consistently seeing increases in SHBG? Like, how aggressive are you doing this successfully? Like, are you getting actually a substantial increase in SHBG, or is it very minimal?
no, yeah, I can go from 4 to 15 in 3 weeks.
Oh wow!
Like
Yeah,
reliably.
it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I
Like,
wish we still had
talking
those
about-
videos, man. Those videos were awesome.
I have.
I wish we had
have
them.
them. I have
you
them. I have
do?
the lab. Yeah, I have the
Yeah, I know.
labs.
I had sent them on to drive. But guys, before Dave goes, I want to take a couple questions here that you could probably help out on a lot because
Well, hey,
Dave has a.
I was going. Let me finish.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, man. I thought you were
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
My bad.
No. It's all good. It's all good. Sorry to cut you off. But yeah, you can with it's only DHB, Tren, Primo, and Nandrolone. Those are the only ones that I've ever tested that I run. What I do is I set up low SHBG levels. So I'll take something that will crush my SHBG and then I switch to a stack of my estradiol dose, which I know is for everybody to start, it's 0.87 milligrams a week, just 0.25 every other day. It's the easy way. But that gets you just to a baseline starting point. You just set the E2 level to what you would normally have it at, and then you put an androgen in that doesn't crush SHBG, which is the list I mentioned, and then you will get an increase in your SHBG.
And is it going to be more dose dependent after you, let's say you get from 4 to 15, are you going to basically level off there, or do you see doses have to increase if you want to start scraping a little higher than 15?
Well, usually, like literally everybody always changes their stuff too fast. So the highest I've ever seen is about 20, like, but reliably going from a single digit to a 20, 25, like that isn't hard. I have to think what the highest level I've seen is. But for me, when I've been mapping out kind of each one and more of them all crush
And
it.
how are people feeling in general? Like if and people, is there any typical symptom that comes with that protocol that might be a little different from just regular drug exposure or regular?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. The first thing you notice is just like annoyingly, you're gonna have a painful dick, honestly, like because you're gonna wake up and have like rock hard boners again. I don't know why. That's just the first.
So like rock hard to the point it's like painful.
Yeah, kind of sometimes.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
Chip ice.
Yeah.
Those suck, guys. That means you've had it for too long, probably. You're probably sleeping with it for 4 hours straight. Right?
Yeah, not to be vulgar, but that's the first thing. And then like I don't know.
Have you tested the prolactin as well? Use the nandrolone routes.
Yeah, prolactin does usually go up for me on nandrolone, but it doesn't for most people or everybody. Like for me, it I don't know if I've done a specific test that I haven't set up one where I'm like prolactin on only nandrolone and then compared it to Tren. But I do notice like consistently I get high prolactin when I'm on Tren for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
It might be you specific, right? Where everyone's going to be different, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. My prolactin goes up to 40 when I'm on Tren or have newly added in Tren for that matter.
Yeah.
But then this is this weird thing. If I take a dose of Caber or two, like I can knock it back, and I do knock it back to from 40 down to 5, and then it just stays there. Like it won't go back up for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, like if you take, you don't need to keep taking it.
Consistencies of things. Like if you had enough data to say, we consistently see prolactin be affected, or whatnot, because sometimes
by this protocol, no, like not on. So like on DHB and E2, no, like it would be normal, but like just whatever your baseline usually is for a guy, which is like what, 8, 10, 12, maybe, if you're not on trend or something. Mm-hmm. Do you not see that? Do you not see prolactin go up on trend, or do people preemptively take cabergoline?
I try not to allow that. If I have any, I try to see where things go, because there's a reality where not everyone. What's the worst thing when it comes to hormone protocols of any sort, from HRT to just performance enhancement, is I see people making assumptions on things they've never done before. Right. How are you? So even assumption of a caber, how are you going to understand like dosing? Like, because there's a vast range of where you're going to go from there to help.
Right. Right.
You could create. I hate prophylactic approaches towards prolactin because they can be a little dangerous. Like, why would you prophylactically want to take caber? You could be creating more problems that you never even had in the first place. So things shake out. Nothing's going to kill you or give you, massive damage within between blood works. You can check that stuff out.
And I wouldn't even necessarily care, because like I have myself and another client with post-finasteride syndrome, but from an AI, are getting like no refractory period too. Like, so what's typically associated to prolactin, like I'm seeing guys have that with like 40. I mean, not guys.
We discussed this at one point.
It's not a ton of guys, but like
we discussed this at one point about how you, being one of those men, were telling me that you can just keep going and going and going and going. And I was like, come on, I'm not buying it for a second.
Yeah.
No, so I believe you, dude. I just want to know how.
It's a handful, but like, the prolactin being attributed to refractory period thing, like, was established in naturals, like in natural men, and you don't really have a ton of control over that. So if prolactin is different at a different level in a different guy, while they're natural, like they, there's another different cause to cause that. And prolactin is typically lowered with dopamine activity. So if you got more dopamine, like, is it really the prolactin that's lowering the like sex drive and like libido and stuff and all the beneficial effects people attribute negatively to prolactin? Do they want, is it prolactin doing it, or is it just low dopamine status, And P5P, is it increasing, or is it decreasing prolactin, or is it increasing your dopamine signaling? So I wouldn't say it's necessarily able to be separated, but good point on the, the variable thing. I don't preemptively, I'm extremely against preemptive caber. And I actually run my prolactin at like 40 before I've left it alone for like 6 months at a time.
Yeah. And I kind of feel the same way when it comes to just even an aromatase. I want to just see where you react and start slow. This is why you don't go to Ronnie Coleman's cycle your first go around, and you just don't make assumptions. Start small, work your way up, monitor. This is half of what we're trying to teach people, is really just pull back the curtain and start becoming a student of your own body first. You'll understand things a lot better.
Right.
Yeah, and you can create easily more problems for yourself, prophylactic routes. Sometimes, especially caber. It's been nasty for some people.
I think he's just tired. Josh, he's saying Dave here he's in a health phase. He looks rested, maybe tired.
Saying he looks fresh. No, he looks. I'm
rested. Sure he does.
I am on my health phase. I was. I was growing for 28 weeks, and then the past 2 weeks we pulled back food, just 100. And freshening up. You get to a point where even when there's plenty of food and plenty of rest, your body's just like kind
You
of
need a break.
Yeah. I'm thinking.
Does it feel? How do you feel? Is it good? Like good to kind of take that break, like
Yeah,
not having to eat so much and just.
Yeah. That's what my body's telling me, and you got to start to listen. So, and it came at a perfect time where I could probably get into a little bit of a health phase. I just did my blood work the other day before we left in New York, and then I'll do it towards the end of a health phase in the sense of maybe 8 weeks from now, 6 weeks. I do my blood work very frequently, to be honest. And then I'm probably going to just move into probably prepping for New England Championships. And then after that, I haven't made my full decision, but I think I'm going to do Masters Nationals next July. I've been qualified ever since I started bodybuilding from my first show, and I've never bothered to do a national show yet, just because I'm always busy coaching.
Yeah.
The point you said about the break with the 28 weeks, in terms of like you're building, weren't you? Trying to build muscle.
Yeah, so we were pushing food and we were pushing everything really hard the past 28 weeks, and this time to pull gear.
How many months is that? Wait, 20? 7. Wow, that's like that's a long one. And I mean, are you utilizing how much weight gain are you gaining over that time, if anything?
I put on about 50.
50?
50, yeah.
Wow.
I was competing. So I got up to 250. I'm like 243 when we left on Wednesday morning because, again, 2 weeks ago I started pulling food back, so it's cleaning up.
Yeah.
But my body composition's still in a good shape, and I competed last year around 200. I just squeaked into the light heavyweights, which I've always been a heavyweight, and then I decided squeeze down a little tighter.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's funny. The year before, I was the smallest heavyweight on stage, and I got second place at the New England Championships at a great show. I don't know why I didn't stick with heavyweight. I just look sickly. And
so, what's your history in terms of your size? Like in terms of your life, like when did you build your size? In how many years?
Oh, geez. Well, I took a lot. As you guys know, I'm a recovering alcoholic. So I had, before I got sober, about 5 years. October will be 6 years. I've been sober. I was doing 10 years of grow for a year, bodybuild, and then be a drunk for a year and a half. And then I just kept bringing myself up and down. But since I've been sober, I competed at my first show around like 189. And then the second show the next year, or the second season, I do 2 shows usually a year. I put on like 18 pounds of bait.
Wow. Yeah, nice.
Now I'm competing around like I said, 200s. When I was in the heavyweights, I was like 208, a little fuller look. And so I'm hoping that maybe if I put on 5 pounds this year, even though that's a big weight swing, to get up to 250, I just hold a lot of water and fill up. You know how you lose a lot of that. I'm hoping to be 215. Let's just say 215, give or take, on each side, a few pounds.
How quick are you dieting? Like, because if you diet like really fast, you lose so much size, like it's crazy. Like,
18 to 16 weeks is like a normal prep. I'm a fan of doing pre-prep, so like I'll take 4 or 5 weeks to just kind of, introduce the cardio, change nothing for food, then maybe clean up, like no more cheat meal or no more little extra snacks or whatever, So clean things up, get a little bit more tighter, and then I'll freshen up with training. I think it's important to kind of get your training audited and kind of look at where you're at before you get into that prep. So we do that for 4 or 5 weeks, and then I'll prep 18, 16 weeks and step on stage.
Yeah, I think the longer run at it, like it's just like staying, people say staying lean is like the way to have the best on stage. Like I'm somebody who goes up and down a lot, like in weight when I was doing this, because like I would lose a lot of fat and gain a lot of weight like quickly. So I just feel like that's more conducive to like those 50-pound swings that you see too. Like I think you could have stayed heavier, I'm sure, if you like hadn't done but at the same time you're trying to get big, so you're pushing things hard. There's just more temporary to lose.
Yeah,
it's just it's like things stabilize more when you make less big shifts.
And I think it goes both ways. The harder you diet down, the rougher it can be to like hold on to what you've earned in the off season. And then the other side of the coin is you can't explode. There's only a rate where you can rebound hard enough. Like, give you an example, maybe the first month out of a show, someone putting on like 10, 12 pounds is kind of where I try to keep them. Some people will put on a shit ton more than that, you know.
Yeah.
And then I kind of get into maybe 1.5 pounds, and it dwindles down to 3/4 pounds, and you just start kind of keep climbing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, my body condition's in great shape, in my opinion. You know, I still got visual abdominals, quad cuts, some vascularity. You know, my shoulders are always striated still. You know, it's funny, my midsections where I get a little wet and kind of soft because of being a 300-pound fatty back in the day. You know,
300-pound fatty, huh? Wow.
I've been 300 pounds 3 times as an alcoholic.
Damn.
Drop 100 pounds 3 times. Yeah.
Wow.
Congrats.
Just so I can start.
Good job, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Not alcohol, but I just got off of Suboxone myself. So.
Oh, did you? Congratulations, man. Good job.
Good for you, brother.
Yeah, July 30th, 2015.
Yeah, I know you're titrating down for some time. I mean, I hope I didn't let that out of the bag, but Austin I was well aware, and he was doing great, you know, and there's some things that you guys may not be aware, and I'd hit him up privately and be like, dude, go take your Suboxone, man. Because some side effects happen that,
you yawn.
The yawns, you know. And it's not like, I was like, you know, you're yawning on a stream. I'm like, dude, I know what that side effect is. It's because you're detoxing from the Suboxone. I'm like, just go take a little piece, man. And then I get rid of the yawns. Yeah. And he did it. So great. That is so awesome because that shit is really hard to get off of.
Yeah. Just throwing it out there. Do you need something? Just let me know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
You got my number.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's great. That's nice, Dave.
Yeah.
That's real fucking nice gesture.
Yeah. No, I'd been on it since 2015, just straight through. And like, I was like, wow. But like the little doses is kind of like hard. It just drags. And then like when you're focused and you're working, like feeling like you are going to be not like it kind of just gets in the way. So, and then you're just like tempted to stay at the same thing forever. That's what happens to most people.
I'll tell you what, myself, I can only kind of share for myself, but I've got a lot of clients that have come to me because of my background in the sense of, you know, being and being open about it. And even on my channel, you'll see way back, I have a lot of interviews of different bodybuilders that have experienced addiction or anorexia, food disorders, and we talk about it. And once you finally get into a clear spot where none of that is really, it's all kind of in the past, but it's fresh in your memory, every day is progressive. You just feel better. You feel like you're getting so much further away from it. Like, I don't think about drinking anymore. But then again, there might be some days where stress gets high. I think about it 30 times. I might, I can walk into a liquor store to grab a soda or grab a water, and it's fine. Sometimes I'm like, I'm just going to stay out. So, like,
you need a stress protocol, like, because everything is a scaled up version of a rat pressing a lever, is like what I like to say. So, like, why do a lot of recovering addicts get into bodybuilding? Because, like, it is something that's a scaffolding you can directly put motivation into, get results, your physique grows, you get more attention, people say, nice job. You have a thing to do that gives you dopamine that you're chasing. Life is about chasing. But when you get stressed, you need something to do that, like, you feel good about.
And that's what
you just do when you're stressed.
And that's where the gym enters for me.
Right.
I'll quickly just share this too. Like, I looked at it like my sobriety and my bodybuilding kind of go hand in hand, in the sense of, like, bodybuilding is just like sobriety, and it's a daily chore. Every day you have to put some work in to keep yourself somewhat sober or level-headed or progressing. Same thing with bodybuilding. I have to have everything and get a good day that turns into a long-term goal. And that's the same thing with sobriety. You have a short-term goal, and then it turns into also there's this long-term goal, just like bodybuilding. Like, I'm working towards a down-the-road physique, a down-the-road kind of position in my competitiveness. And so is in sobriety. You're open to earn a lifetime of sobriety. So You got these daily achievements that very correlate much with sobriety in bodybuilding, and the same thing for the long-term approach. And you can lean into it and allow it to be, like you say, when I'm stressed, I'm not going thinking about the liquor store. I'm thinking about, hey, maybe I'll go for a walk. Maybe I'll go hit.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go, just leave it in the gym floor.
There's something you want to do, chase that dopamine. Life is fun. So,
Yeah.
Just get on that. Like, you got to find something you like. Cynicalness and negativity is like what the thing that gets people, what is it called? Despondence. Like despondence and the feeling like you can't change, the identification with your state, the psychological identification with being in that, like, can keep people there too. Like a feeling like you're not good enough to grow.
Yeah. And like not relying on myself to be my own sponsor, my own, like once I finally opened up to, like, when I finally decided to get fully sober, like talking to my family and not thinking like I won't bother them. They know I got a drinking problem, but like I'm not going to bother them. I started opening up. I told my family, sit down, like, hey, I'm going to go to detox. This is my goals and I need your support. I even sat down with my employees, a dozen of my employees that were directly relying on me to make sure their paychecks are available. And I let them in on what I'm doing as your boss. And I'm going to make sure that for you. And then talking with my wife, just making sure that I didn't try to be the tough guy. I said, like, there's going to be some times you need to lean into you and build that trust back.
Yeah.
I've got a breathalyzer in the house. So like, if there's ever a time that you're thinking, questioning me, I need to have
fragmented life.
Things in place.
Right.
Communication.
Fragmented life. Like if you like, it's so much of addiction comes with fragmentation. Like you have a self that you can be alone that isn't the same self that you can be in front of another person.
Sure.
Like usually if somebody's like a heavy addict, they have at least one person they're keeping it from,
Yeah.
Like you literally need that. So
yeah. Well, good for you, brother. I'm really happy to hear you're crushing him.
Thanks, man. Yeah. It was just that like chemical aspect of it at the end. Like I was so not that sick of it because it didn't really have that many side effects aside from like yawning when it wore off when I was tapering down. But like it was just like you got to go fill a prescription. It's kind of annoying.
Oh, it's always annoying. Everything's annoying. It's horrible.
Yeah. I bet you feel like you got a lot more control too. Like, it's empowering to know that like I don't have to rely now. Like, you can move forward.
Yeah. I mean, I think, I don't know. I just like never thought about it really because I was probably on it for so long. Probably.
Sure.
Yeah. Like when I was using actual opioids after my surgery, like that stopped.
Yeah, I think it's important, Austin, to let people be aware how this happened actually. And this is how it happens to almost all of us is you become a doctor-made junkie after something traumatic happens. In your case, a horrible accident that you pretty much almost died, right?
Yeah, right.
And then you're on opiates for a long time in recovery, and then they just expect it to, you're all done. That's it.
Yeah. And then like after you lose your career, like what you have when you're like 19, which is like nothing crazy, but like you're in a place where you just lost everything that you do for all your reward. You're literally injured. You're literally getting prescribed something that replaces feel-good feelings. So it's like, it's get addicted soup, basically. So, yeah.
I'll just throw it out there. If anybody, anyone that's listening, if
same,
feel free to reach out. I can't be a psychiatrist, but I can give you my 2 cents sometimes. And I think it's huge to be able to also not have someone's skin in the game, someone that doesn't have skin in the game, like not a stranger, but someone like us. Like you could reach out.
People that understand, people that have been there.
You have to be mom, dad, your brother. Sometimes it's having someone with no skin in the game.
That's exactly,
for sure. Yeah,
it helps you feel not so alone too.
Yeah. But hey guys, I gotta hop off because we gotta get Jackie.
Yeah, man, I get it. I'm actually grateful that you came on, bro. I didn't expect you to come on whatsoever. I knew that you were out tonight. So, but thanks a lot, man. It means a lot. We appreciate it. So, we're rooting for Jackie. We're looking forward to this. So, I'm sure some great content's going to come out of this, Dave. Please, guys, we already got his information down in the description box. It's Mr. and Mrs. Blue Collar Bodybuilding. Channel kicks ass. He puts on some great content and live streams every week. Check him out. All right, Dave, have a great night. Let Jackie know we said hi, and we're rooting for her.
All right. Be good, guys. I'll see you.
All right, take care, bro.
Thanks.
All right, man. Let's hit some of these questions, Austin. I wanted to get into.
You want to? I think we just save them. We save them.
Yeah. All right, that's cool, dude. That's cool, bro.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna. I got these already all copied, so I got you, WJ and Verb.
Yeah, thanks, Verb.
Yeah, Verb. We'll get this next week. We're gonna do strictly a Q&A. Maybe it'll just be Austin and I. I'm just coming on and doing the Q&A straight up. What do you think, Austin?
I'm down for that, actually. Let's do it.
I think that'd be fun. All right, so we'll do that, guys. We're gonna have all these questions for you next week. Take all the time we need and have a good time getting into these. All right. So thanks again, everybody, for coming out tonight. We really appreciate the support. Please like this video. It helps with the algorithm. Drop a comment and also subscribe. We really appreciate it. Have a good night, and we'll see you next week, Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Pacific. Peace out.